Hi everybody. Maureen Sky, Crafty Sky Lady here, talking to you. That's right. I'm sitting in my car, but I'm not driving. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do my video right from sitting here in the car. Get a little air in. Yeah. Oh, nice. I just came from doctor appointment. This appointment was for the mere fact that the last time I had blood drawn, which was a few days ago, last week here, for sugar readings, my A1C was high, the highest it's ever been for me, at 10.1. So with that, they want to change up some of my meds and how I take them. And so now I just talked with two ladies at length in regard to, I will be taking the Manjaro. It's kind of like an EpiPen, and told me what I have to do. So now I've got to go over to the pharmacy in Turner's Falls and over the mountain here. That's my next thing. And go get my new meds, which I have to keep in the fridge, and told me what I have to do. I think I have a pretty good sense of what I have to do, and you know, not beating myself up. You know, I'm 72 now, and your body does go through changes, and I've had a lot of different things stress-wise happening, so it's not necessarily something I did, so I'm not going to beat myself up. It is what it is, and I got to start taking these new meds, which will actually aid very much so, supposedly, in bringing those numbers back down to a better rate. So I'm all for that. So we'll do that, and yeah, that's where I'm at with all of that, and not letting it stress me out. I just gotta do what I gotta do, right? And I will. I'm good about doing what I have to do. So, excuse me, people. I don't think I got enough sleep last night. But anyway, I'll go back and get rested after. But I did want to get back on my storytelling and my subject and my niche of storytelling. So, what comes to mind today with in regard to living with narcissism, a narcissist in the past, is that one of the things that they would do that would drive me absolutely insane, and this happened, I do apologize for that. I'm yawning. I don't like to be yawning in your face, but so I apologize. But anyway, what I wanted to say was that one of the things that they did over the years, and this was an ongoing, that drove me insane, and I would blame more the fact that, you know, his parents or something must have let him get away with this one, more so maybe his mother. But anyway, say it's a holiday. I'm near a hospital, so you're gonna hear the ambulances and sirens and stuff. Hospital's right there. So yeah, say it's a holiday, say Easter, and I'm hostessing my family. Not that I had the home and that to be doing hostessing, but at least being that it was my family, I felt comfortable enough that they knew our situation and what the house looked like and stuff, so that I could at least do that and have them in. So let's just say I've cooked Easter dinner, you know, the ham and, you know, scalloped potatoes or whatever, and a dessert later, maybe some carrots or vegetables or whatever we're doing. And he's been in the living room, whatever, watching TV. Okay. Well, say my mother was there helping me cook, or my sister, whatever. So all the women, let's say, were busy cooking, and they all had their part in making this dinner happen. And in my mind, I'm thinking, out of sheer respect for the women who cook this nice meal for you, and we say to you, hey, dinner's ready, it's on the table, come eat while it's hot, and so that we can all sit down at the same time. There's a girl walking, and I don't want her to think I'm weird, so I'll stop talking for just a moment. Yeah. You know, so we would call to him, and we'd be waiting to all sit down together. And we'd call to him again, and he's still just staring at the TV. Oh yeah. And we'd call to him again, and he's still staring at the TV. And it's not because he didn't hear us, because there's nothing wrong with his hearing. He doesn't wear hearing aids, or no. No. Wouldn't come. Even though he loves to eat, he'd be the last one at the table eating. And he ate his portions. No. Was just going to make you wait. Didn't care. If he was watching a movie or something on TV, that was far more important than what you were saying to him. And we got so, we didn't give a damn anymore, really. I could use some other words. And my mother, I think one time she did out loud say, you know, F this, we're eating. Come on, Reenie, they call me. Come on, we're eating. And then, you know, over the years after that, we just ignored that one, but oh, it frosts my buns. And then I would tell him, we would fight over that after everyone left, or I would say something even then, like, you know, that, where are your manners at? That is so rude. That is so disrespectful and rude to the women who just cooked you this nice holiday meal, you know, slaved over the stove for a few hours over, you know, the hot gravy and the hot pots and pans, and, you know, made you this nice meal, and you're going to make them wait. We want to sit down together as a family, maybe say a little grace, I don't know, and you're going to pull that card each and every time. Are you freaking kidding me, folks? That's what I went through with him. That to me led me to believe that his mother let him get away with that. Watch TV when, you know, she didn't set any morals for him. I mean, that was okay to just make everybody wait for you. You know, you're that important and everyone else is less important. That you're going to pull that? You're going to pull that when all the relatives are sitting around waiting for you to politely come to the table and take your place so we can all have a nice holiday dinner together? Really? Wow. Wow. That's what he would do. Wouldn't that drive you insane? It drove me insane. It still does, just thinking about it. How rude. Rude. R-U-D-E, people. Rude. I mean, really, that would take the cake to me. And that's the stuff we would get. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And another one. My poor sister, who's gone now, she died at age of 49 from a rare adrenal gland tumor, cancerous, that took her at age 49. But she had initially had 3 children, 3 girls. And 2 of them were by the same father, and 1 was a different father. Okay. Well, the youngest one, her 3rd daughter, was killed tragically and died from that in a car accident, driven by a young teen who was in foster care and deeply troubled. Anyway, long story, and that's another whole video that, maybe someday I'll share. I don't know. It's very personal, and I don't want to say something that's gonna hurt or offend anybody else, because we all have our different views on that story, probably, or how the way I would tell that story would be very different from, say, one of her daughters, so, and I wouldn't want to really necessarily go down that road right now, or maybe someday, I don't know, but I would have to tell it in such a delicate form that, because it is very still raw to a lot of us. It probably always will be. But anyway, not to get off on that, but just the story of how that went down was very hard to swallow, and very hard for the family. We all went through an awful lot with that young loss, and we were all close, so it was truly devastating. Just a devastating circumstance that took place in the family back in the mid-'80s. And my poor sister had to endure that, and it was hard to watch her go through that. It really, and her other girls, the sisters of the young one. But anyway, by no means was it anybody's fault. It was something that happened, and there's different things that could have happened that maybe could have prevented that, but it is what it is. It happened, and here we are. But anyway, what I want to get at is that another devastating blow in my marriage to this person, this narcissist, was that I came home one day to my mother and my sister, and I think one of her daughters, one of my nieces, sitting around my kitchen table waiting for me. I'd been out grocery shopping or something. I didn't know they were coming. And they're not looking too happy. That little forlorn look on their faces, only to have them talk to me, to tell me that, what's with this letter that we got, that my sister received recently in the mail. And I'm thinking, what letter? I didn't write you any letter. What letter? Well, Mr. Answer to everything, narcissist, his world was better, evidently. He's got it all together, yeah. He, without telling me, unbeknownst to me, wrote my sister a letter about that whole scenario and his feelings and, blaming and shaming. Oh yeah, it was nasty, it was bad. And it was hurtful to my sister and my mother and my nieces. Had nothing, I didn't do that. That's not something that I was thinking of doing, or I would have done, or those weren't my thoughts. He did that. It was so hurtful, and I cried. I read it and I cried. And I apologized to the yin-yang, to my family, my sister, my mother, my niece. I didn't write that letter. I knew nothing about it. I didn't know he was writing that letter and sending it. Can you imagine that? She's got enough to deal with the loss of her daughter and everything else that was going on in her life, their lives. And I come home to that, and he just blew that off like, oh yeah, yeah, well, that's how I felt, and that's what I wanted to do, and ain't that something, folks? Wow. Wow. Yep, he did that. Had to wear that. Yeah. So many things, people. Yeah. Here's another one for you. In the midst of us having the store that I talked about in my last video, we had a secondhand shop for a couple of years, I guess. And in order to keep the store supplied, thrift store, little thrift secondhand shop, we had to go to auctions and different things, get our sourcing, tag sales, auctions, you know. So we did. We had a couple of local weekly auctions that we would attend, and one of them was in New Hampshire, about a half an hour's ride from us. And actually how we learned about that particular auction was through this fella who was a friend of his, the Narcissist, and lived in Turner's Falls, and he would go to these auctions because he was a money maker. This man had his hands in a lot of things, and he had it all going on for him and his family. It wasn't like us, you know, penny pinching over here. But he did like to collect silver, so he would go to these auctions and buy up any pieces of silver that he might be interested in. So this one particular night, he's at the auction. He wasn't always there, but because we would go every week. We were weekly goers of this auction, and oh yeah, I could tell you stories about all that. But so we're there. It's early on. A viewing time was like between 4 and 6, and I think the auctions started at like 6 or 6:30. So that viewing time, you could go and you could actually look at the different things laid out that were going to go up for auction, and a lot of box lot things. So you'd walk around the tables, and people would be lined up to do that. And this one particular night, he's over there somewhere, the other side of the room, and I'm looking at stuff. And who's standing next to me but his friend who buys the silver. And he says to me, hey, Maureen, when is, you know, your husband going to pay me back on the loan? What loan? Oh, yeah. Oh, you don't know about that? No. You have a loan with him? Oh, yeah. He said, 6-8 months ago, something like that. He said, he came to the house one day to bring me a bunch of records and some silver and sell me some records. And and then when he said that, I remember that he grabbed some records and grabbed some silver and went over to this person's house. And I remember that because I was thinking, oh, it would be nice if, you know, I would like to go visit with his wife, or no, I'm gonna go on my own, and this now that day. Well, okay. And I didn't think much of it. So that was the day that he evidently asked this guy for a loan, and the guy gave it to him, $5,000. And the deal was he was to pay him back, I don't know, a couple hundred a month or something till it was paid. And I guess he had only given him 1 month's payment, and it was, you know, he was a couple of payments overdue. Wow. I was so upset when I heard that. I said, yeah, I know nothing about it. He said, yeah, it sounds like yeah. He said, well, this is the situation is that he's behind paying me, and I'm getting annoyed, and it'd be nice to get a payment and have him make good on that. I said, well, thank you. I'll be talking with him. Well, that was a big fight that I had to endure with him. Oh yeah, I knew nothing about it. Why didn't you tell me? How would you feel? You're sitting there, you're at an auction, and some friend of yours comes up to you and asks you when your husband's going to make a payment on the loan. How embarrassing. I had more situations that were embarrassing too, like that. Writing a letter to my sister, belittling her. Not coming to the dinner table after all of us cooked a nice meal and it's hot and we're all waiting to sit down together as a family, and out of respect, no, can't be doing that. Would sit right there. Disrespectful. Oh, I wanted to smack him a couple of times on those things. Not that I'm one to go around hitting people, but you just want to, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You don't see anything bad about that? Really? Wow. Well, let me tell you. And then I would tell him, and next time we had a dinner, he'd pull the same thing. Same darn crap. Oh, yeah. Same crap. There's more, but I don't want my videos to get too lengthy, and I do have to get over to Turner's Falls and pick up my new way of doing things with the meds and see how that goes. It's a weekly dose, and I'm starting off with a lesser dose, and then okay, looks like the sun's trying to come out. Let's hope it does. I still have more plants to get in. All those plants, I'm hanging on to them for dear life. Sunflower and all these other they look healthy still, thank the good Lord, but I gotta get them in. But anyway, I'm gonna say goodbye for now. So thank you for listening, and if that's you watching, yes, you, my viewer, think about subscribing. That would be great, and share, hit like, and all that good stuff. Tell your friends, come on in. Yeah, we're going to grow those numbers, right? Okay. Well, thank you. And I'll let you know, and I'll have more stories to share on these subjects and more. And we'll do some crafting eventually, too. I have some ideas, okay? Thank you now. And until we meet again, I certainly hope the universe provides for you. I truly do. Thank you now. Bye-bye.